Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah. We begin the Seerah tonight from page 93. Page 93. أولا غزوة بدر الكبرى. غزوة بدر الكبرى. First, the military expedition of Badr al-Kubra. In Ramadan, 2 AH, meaning after Hijrah. 2, meaning 2 years after Hijrah. The Prophet ﷺ knew that Abu Sufyan ibn Harb set off from Asham, meaning Greater Syria, towards Mecca. He, meaning Abu Sufyan, he led a major commercial caravan of Quraysh. So he was in charge. He was leading and taking care of the commercial caravan of Quraysh. The Honorable Prophet ﷺ hastened from Medina in the company of 310 men. So you have different narrations, 310, and then little more than 300, so it's not that significant, no exact numbers, but 307, 309, 310, you have different narrations. He, meaning Abu Sufyan, he led a major commercial caravan of Quraysh. The Honorable Prophet ﷺ hastened from Medina in the company of 310 men to encounter this caravan. So the mission and the purpose of the Prophet ﷺ's mission was to encounter the caravan of Abu Sufyan, to stop them, to block them, to intervene their process. In other words, to take it over. And we talked about this last night. You remember why? Why the Prophet ﷺ, wanted to encounter the caravan of Abu Sufyan? You remember why? Oh, you forgot. You remember that the companions who immigrated from Mecca to Medina were prevented from taking their wealth with them. At least most of them, they left Mecca to Medina without. You remember that, right? They immigrated from Mecca to Medina without. So this is like in retaliation to pay the Quraysh back. So the Prophet ﷺ went out with 310 men to encounter this caravan led by, who was leading the caravan of Quraysh? Abu Sufyan, exactly. So they headed towards Badr. We're all going towards Badr. Abu Sufyan and his caravan were all heading to Mecca. So they headed towards Badr. The Muslims had nothing but 2 horses. Muslims, 300 plus, they only had men riding 2 horses and 70 camels. Abu Sufyan was informed that the Muslims went out from Medina in their way to fighting him. So Abu Sufyan, he had his information, he had his information that the Prophet ﷺ and the Muslims came out to stop him and to encounter his caravan. Abu Sufyan was informed that the Muslims went out from Medina in their way to fighting him. Abu Sufyan sent to Mecca, meaning he sent a message to Mecca. He who provoked and urged the polytheists to save their commercial caravan. So meaning in the message, he was warning them to come out. It's like, hey, we have a problem. We have a problem. You know, the Muslims are coming after your caravan, so come out and defend your property, defend your wealth, defend your commercial caravan. Abu Jahl exerted such great effort to provoke Quraysh that they went out in their full parade. They went out in great numbers, showing the utmost of their arrogance and pride with an army of 900 men. So the kuffar, the kuffar almost tripled the number of Muslims, because the Muslims were 300 and few. Quraysh 900 strong, 900 men, 100 horse and 700 camels. So they were ready to fight. When Abu Sufyan knew that the Muslim army is near to him, he changed the route, his route, meaning his way. He changed the route of the caravan towards the coast of the Red Sea. So he changed his way because he knew that the Muslims were coming after him. When he was reassured about the safety of the caravan, he sent to Quraysh to tell them about the safety of their caravan and recommended them to go back to Mecca. So, again, he sent a message to the people in Mecca, telling them that, hey, rest assured that we're good, we're safe, and there is no cause for alarm. So don't worry about it. Don't come out. Just stay, because we are good. A number of the chiefs of the polytheists of Quraysh inclined to returning to Mecca. So some of the chiefs, some of the leaders of Quraysh said, no, we already came out, so let's go ahead. Let's continue to meet with the Muslims. Don't go back. Yet Abu Jahl succeeded in convincing them to follow up in their marching until they reached Badr. So Abu Jahl was the brain behind, was the architect, was the planner. He was like, hey, don't go back. Now that we out, we don't go back. Let's go and meet with the Muslims. Let's fight the Muslims. So Abu Jahl succeeded in convincing them to follow up in their marching until they reached Badr. And Badr is the place. It's a name of a place where the Muslims and the kuffar of Quraysh fought. Thus, the Muslims became face to face with the polytheists of Mecca. So they were seeing each other, and the army of Muslims were seeing the army of the Quraysh. Quraysh exceeded Muslims in number and equipment. The Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet of Allah ﷺ, consulted his companions about fighting the polytheists. The Muhajirun said good words. Now, let me ask you this. Now, the Prophet ﷺ came face to face with the Quraysh, with the polytheists, with the kuffar. The army of Muslims has seen the army of the kuffar face to face. And as I told you, the Muslims were minority, 300 plus. The army of Quraysh, the kuffar, tripled the number of the Muslims, 900 men. They outnumbered the Muslims. and they had more horses and camels and equipment to fight. And Muslims have little or nothing. Now, the Prophet ﷺ consulted with the Muslims regarding fighting. I'm going to repeat here again. The Prophet of Allah ﷺ consulted his companions about fighting the polytheists. I have a question here for you. If you know the answer, raise your hand. What is the significance and what is the importance of this consultation? Like, okay, why would the Prophet ﷺ consult with the Muslims, the Muhajirun amongst them and the Ansar, the immigrants and the helpers? It's time to fight. But the Prophet ﷺ took time to consult with the companions, with his companions. I want you to tell me, what is the significance, what is the importance of this consultation? Move your chair to the other side. Who can tell me? Take the mic. What is the significance, what is the importance of this consultation? Turn it on. Go ahead.
To make them not feel scared.
I'm sorry?
To make them not feel scared.
Make them feel?
Do not make them feel scared.
Oh, so that they will not be scared. Okay. Anyone else? What is the importance of this consultation? I want to hear from you. Now it's time to fight. But the Prophet ﷺ is talking to the companions about it. What is the importance of this consultation? Pass the mic on to him. Pass the mic. Pass it on.
He's taking their opinion on whether or not to fight.
Absolutely. Taking their opinion, taking their inputs. Sisters, the Prophet of Allah ﷺ consulted with the companions. Consulted with his companions. I'm asking a question. What is the importance of this consultation? Let me tell you something. It's very important. You know why? Because it's time to fight. Fighting is not a joke. Some people might die. So he knows full well that the lives of the people would be on the line. Some might die. So he didn't want to take everything into his own hands. He doesn't want to force them into fighting. He wants to get their input, get their opinion. He wants them to, have conversation with him. He want to hear what they think about it. In other words, whether they really want to do this, they really want to fight, or they don't want to fight. But I'll tell you something else. There is something else very, very important. The Ansar, the people of Medina, when they promised the Prophet ﷺ and they pledged allegiance to him, they promised that they're going to help him, that they're going to protect him, that they're going to defend him in Medina. Are you listening? They're going to help him. They're going to protect him. They're going to defend him. Where? In Medina. But think about it. Now, what happened is that they left Medina. They all out to Badr. So it's like, uh-oh. So the pledge of allegiance to help the Prophet, to protect him, to defend him, is not binding here. They out of the outskirts of Medina, out of their jurisdiction. Well, we say we're going to help you in Medina. We say we're going to protect you in Medina, but you left Medina, now you out. So it's like some folks might have second opinion, second thought. It's like, well, we're not ready to do this outside Medina because you left. That's what I want you to understand. So he want to hear from them, make sure that they have some conversation about this, and that they have clarity, and that he get their consent, that they consented to defending and fighting in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay. The Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam consulted his companions about fighting the polytheists. The muhajirun, meaning the immigrants, those who immigrated from Mecca to Medina, the muhajirun said good words. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam consulted them again. So even though he heard from the muhajirun, they said, we're going to help you out, we're going to support you. And the Prophet ﷺ still talking to them. Ashiru. Ilayya. Give me your opinion. Give me your opinion. So it's very important to understand here. I would say, let me read this to you. The Prophet ﷺ فاستشار النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أصحابه في قتال المشركين فتكلم المهاجرون كلاما حسنا. I'm reading the Arabic. ثم استشارهم ثانية فتكلم المهاجرون أيضا كلاما حسنا. You don't have this. ثم استشارهم ثالثة فبادر سعد بن معاذ الأنصاري وقال لكأنك تريدنا يا رسول الله. قال نعم. فقال سعد امضي يا رسول الله لما أردت فنحن معك والذي بعثك بالحق لو استعرضت بنا هذا البحر فخذته لخذناه معك ما تخلف منا رجل واحد وما نكره أن نلقى بك وما نكره أن تلقى بنا العدو غدا إنا لصبر في الحرب صدق عند اللقاء لعل الله يريك منا ما تقر به عينك فسر بنا على بركة الله وأشرق وجه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وسر سرورا عظيما بما قاله سعد ثم قال سيروا وأبشروا فإن الله قد وعدني إحدى الطائفتين. So let me come back here. The Prophet ﷺ consulted with the companions, and then the muhajirun said good words. The Prophet ﷺ consulted them again. The muhajirun said good words again. He ﷺ consulted them for the third time. For the third time. There then stood Sa'ad, one of the companions, Sa'ad ibn Mu'adh al-Ansari, one of the leaders of the leader of the Ansar. He stood up and said, do you mean us? The Prophet ﷺ replied in the affirmative, meaning yes, I mean you, the people of Medina. I want to hear from you. Thereupon Sa'ad said, O Prophet of Allah, we have faith in you. We have faith in you and testify that your religion is a true one. And we have promised and agreed that we will obey you and stick to all the decisions you made, all the decisions made by you. We swear by the Almighty Allah, who has appointed you to the prophetic mission, that if you go into the sea, meaning Red Sea, we shall follow suit, and none of us shall lag behind. None of us, meaning, shall stay behind in following you. We are not at all afraid to face the enemy. It is possible that we may make sacrifices that may brighten your eyes, may make you feel good, make you feel happy, in obedience to the command of Allah. You may send us to any place you consider fit. The words of Sa'ad made the Prophet ﷺ extremely happy, and the shadow of despair disappeared from his face ﷺ, and was replaced with the rays of hope, steadfastness, patience, and forbearance. The words of Sa'ad were so commanding and moving that the Prophet ﷺ gave immediate orders to move and said, move, and I give you good tidings, meaning glad tidings, meaning good news, that you will either come across the caravan and confiscate the goods, or you will fight against the forces which have come to help the caravan. I can now see the defeat of Quraysh and find that they have suffered heavy losses. This is before even the fighting. The Prophet ﷺ was giving them good news that I foresee this coming. I saw this coming. You're going to win. You're going to have victory. The Muslim army proceeded under the command of the Prophet ﷺ and encamped near the wells of Badr, mean the water of Badr, at the advice of one of his companions, who was Al-Hubab ibn al-Munzir. The Muslims filled a basin they made from the wells of Badr, mean they filled the water they needed, and then they covered the other wells of Badr. Before the fighting, when the Prophet ﷺ consulted with them and the people of Mecca, the Muhajirun said good words. The people of Medina observed the Prophet ﷺ repeating and asking his words of consultation with them. Sa'd ibn Mu'az said good words. He said, the Prophet ﷺ, we believe in you, we follow you, blah, blah, blah. We're ready to go with you. Inshallah, you will see all that which will brighten your face. He spoke eloquently. He spoke good. Not only that, but Sa'd ibn Mu'az said, "Oh Allah's Messenger, we are not gonna say to you as the people of Musa said to Musa, اذهب أنت وربك فقاتلا إنها هنا قاعدون." We're not gonna say to you as the people of Musa said to Musa, go, you and your Lord go fight. We're gonna be here sitting down. We're not gonna say that to you, but we're gonna say to you, اذهب أنت وربك فقاتلا إنها هنا إنا معكما مقاتلون. But we're going to say to you, go. You and your Lord go fight. We're going to be with you fighting alongside with you. So Sa'ad gave very good words, encouraging words. Now, the Prophet ﷺ asked them to camp, meaning to stay and station, behind the water of Badr. One of the companions, his name is Hubab ibn al-Munzir, he said, Ya Rasulullah, I have a question for you. You said we should camp. We should camp, meaning we should stay and station behind the water of Badr. I have a question for you. Is this a revelation from Allah Azza wa Jal, which we don't have to say anything? And we cannot say anything? Or is your opinion to station and have our place behind the well of Badr? The Prophet ﷺ said, oh, no, this is not a revelation, this is my opinion. Al-Hubab ibn al-Munzir, he said, Ya Rasulullah, but you know what, with all due respect, if this is your opinion, I have one. I have an opinion too. The best opinion is that we station in front of the well of Badr and make sure that the water will be behind us. So we in front and the well of Badr behind us, we have possession of the water. We have access to the water, and we deprive the enemies from the water. So the water behind us, we got it, they don't have water. The Prophet ﷺ said, you know what? You got it. You got it. It's the best opinion, I take it. So let's move to the front of the well, so the water of Badr be behind us. We always have the water. So they did that. Now, the Prophet ﷺ provoked the Muslims to observe. The Prophet ﷺ provoked the Muslims to observe steadfastness in fighting. He ﷺ arranged their lines, invoked Allah Azza wa Jal to set them victorious and defeat their enemies. I have a question here. The Prophet ﷺ provoked the Muslims to observe steadfastness, meaning talk to them, urge them, advise them, encourage them to be strong, to be steadfast, to have their iman, have their faith, have their courage in fighting. He ﷺ arranged their lines. He was the commander-in-chief. So he made sure that he arranged them accordingly in lines. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he invoked Allah Azza wa Jalla, meaning he made dua. He made dua. And ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to set them victorious. May Allah help them to win the fight and defeat their enemies. I will ask you a question here. Now, well, what is the big deal? What is the big deal if the Quraysh, the polytheists, the kuffar, if they win the fight of Ghazwat Badr al-Kubra? What's the big deal? Hello? I'm asking you. What's the big deal? Because the Prophet was making dua that may Allah help them out, may Allah give them victory, may Allah make them victorious. Well, I get it. I'm asking you, what is the big deal if the Muslims lose and then the kuffar win? The first battle in Islam, Ghazwat Badr al-Kubra. Who's going to go? Give him the mic. What is the big deal if the kuffar win?
Maybe if the kuffar win, then
Speak up.
maybe if the kuffar win, then they're gonna wipe out Islam.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Come forward. Get the mic. Give it to him. What's the big deal if the kuffar win? Speak up.
Maybe if they win the battle, they might be able to conquer Medina.
Okay, that's a good one. Give the mic to him. What's the big deal if the kuffar win? The first battle, Ghazwat Badr, what's the big deal? Go ahead.
Maybe the Muslims won't be allowed back in Mecca.
Again?
Maybe the Muslims won't be allowed back in Mecca.
Muslims would not be allowed back to Mecca. Okay, anyone else? Give the mic to him. I want to hear from you. What is the big deal if the kuffar win the battle? Ghazwat Badr, what's the big deal? Leave the mic for him. Go ahead.
It would look bad.
Speak up, speak up.
It would look bad on the Muslims
Go look bad, yes. How?
by losing to the kuffars.
Okay, that's a good one. Who else? What is the big deal? Give the mic, I'm coming here. Go ahead. What's the big deal if the kuffar win?
It's maybe because some of the Muslims will think that the
You have to speak up so that they can hear you.
It was maybe because some of the Muslims will think that we're losers, and like the kuffar will also have fame.
Okay, so pass the mic on. This way. Go ahead. What's the big deal if the kuffar win? What's the big deal?
They won't forget about Allah, and they will not.
Who will forget about Allah?
The kuffar. Like they won't they don't know that they're gonna go to Jahannam.
Okay, pass the mic. What's the big deal if the kuffar win?
There won't be any Muslims left.
Say that again, speak up please.
There won't be any Muslims left.
MashaAllah. See, all your answers were good, but this one is the best. Let me repeat that again. All your answers were good, MashaAllah, but the answer from the sister is the best answer. Sister, repeat your answer again.
There won't be any more Muslims left.
You heard that? There would not be Muslim left. But tell me why. That when Muslims were defeated, when kuffar win, there will not be any Muslim. Why? Go ahead. Musta'an?
Because maybe they won't have anyone to like guide them.
Okay, okay. Give him the mic. There will not be any Muslim left. Why?
Maybe the kuffar will torture them.
Okay. Give him the mic now. Speak clearly. Let everybody understand. Give him the mic. Go ahead.
Because if the Quraysh, they kill the Muslims in Ghazwat Badr, there'll be no one back in Medina to defend them. So
Okay.
it'll be easy for the kuffar to like
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Give the mic right here to these two guys. What's the big deal? That, kuffar win and then Muslims lose the fight. What's the big deal about it? Go ahead, two of you. Speak up.
Because the Muslims will change to they won, so they want to change to their deen.
Okay, I hear you. Give the mic to him. Go ahead. What's the big deal? Muslims lose, kuffar win, Islam is defeated. Go ahead.
The Muslims might think that Allah didn't want them to win and wasn't with them.
Okay.
So they'll turn back kuffar.
Okay. I will take this one and then I will make a comment and then we move on. Go ahead.
If all the Muslims die in the war, there won't be no Muslims, so the kuffar will have a chance of killing Prophet Muhammad ﷺ.
Very, very important. So let's sum this up. I want you to think about this. Think about this. Ghazwat Badr al-Kubra was the very serious battle in Islam. Ghazwat Badr al-Kubra was a decisive battle بين الحق والباطل, between the truth and the falsehood. Listen to this. If Muslims were to lose the war, Islam is gone. If the Muslims were to be defeated, Islam is gone. إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَ اللَّهِ. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ was there and the companions, if they were to be killed and the kuffar became victorious, like we told you, these Muslims were nothing, they cannot survive, Islam will not prevail, and the little force, the little people who were Muslims, they all be killed, Islam is gone. Nothing will remain but history. And that is why the flip side of the coin, the victory of Muslims was great, was huge, because it went across the whole Arabian Peninsula. It went all across that. Muslims were victorious. Muslims defeated the army of Quraysh. That was a big deal. That gave Muslims strength. And even those who were reluctant, they had some doubt of being Muslims, now they came out. They embraced Islam. So it was a good start for Muslims and for Islam. Yes. Give him mic. Right here.
It had basically the same impact of if the Muslims lost, except the opposite. It was on Quraysh then. And the Quraysh, I think that after the Battle of Badr, they got humiliated.
Exactly.
By the Arab Peninsula.
You said it all. The same thing. The loss of war for the Quraysh, it was a big blow. It's oh my God. Yes. It's oh my God. Quraysh lost to Muslims. Very few, very minority. A lot of Quraysh were killed. A lot of them were killed. And 70 of them became prisoners of war. And like he was saying, the defeat of the Badr, instigated, the Badr, the Uhud battle. So Quraysh said, wow, yeah. So Muhammad defeated us, Muslims defeated us, we have to retaliate, we have to fight back, we have to show that we are back on the, on the front line, because people know them to be strong and they have horsemen, and now they lost. That was a humiliating defeat, which the Quraysh didn't want. Now, let's move on. On the morning, I want someone to read page 95. On the morning, let me go to sisters. On the morning of the 17th of Ramadan. Sisters, page 95.
On the morning of the 17th of Ramadan, the war broke out between the Muslims and the polytheists of Quraysh. There stepped forward from the lines of the polytheists Utbah ibn Rabi'ah, his brother Shaybah, and his son Al-Walid. They asked for those who may dare to duel with them, and 3 from the Ansar stepped forward. The 3 polytheists said to them, "We will not fight to you. We want to fight our paternal cousins." At this, there stepped forward to dueling with them Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib, Ali ibn Abu Talib, and Ubaidah ibn al-Harith. Ali ibn Abu Talib killed Al-Walid, and Hamza killed Shaybah. Ubaidah and Uthba struck and wounded one another. Ali and Hamza attacked Utbah and killed him. The battle commenced, and the Muslims and polytheists rushed forward. The Muslims achieved such a great victory over the disbelievers. 70 of the polytheists were killed, including disbelievers. 70 of the polytheists were killed, including Abu Jahl and Umayyah ibn Khalaf. They took 70 of them in captivity, including Al-Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib and Uqayl ibn Abu Talib. The other polytheists of Quraysh turned in flight from the battlefield to Mecca. Regarding the Muslims, only 14 of them were granted martyrdom.
So you understand, Allah Azza wa Jalla gave Muslims, victory. They did very well. Only few Muslims were killed, but the Quraysh, it was a blow. It was a defeat for them. Continue. When the battle ended.
When the battle ended, the funeral prayer was performed for the martyrs of Badr, and they were buried. The killed polytheists were thrown in Qalib of Badr. The Muslims marched back to Medina, enjoying the victory which Almighty Allah granted them, having with them the captives and the spoils of war. From among the disbelievers who were taken in captivity, some ransomed themselves, and some of them were set free without ransoms. From among them there were those whose ransom was to teach 10 of the children of the Muslims of Medina reading and writing. Thus Allah set this group of believers who were a few in number over the disbelieving group, which was large in number. Allah Azza wa Jal says, كم من فئة قليلة غلبت فئة كثيرة بإذن الله والله مع الصابرين. How often a small group overcame a mighty host by Allah's leave, and Allah is with as-sabirin, the patient ones. Al-Baqarah 249. Thus the battle of Badr was a decisive battle in the history of...
One more time. Thus the battle
of Badr was a decisive battle in the history of Islam, and a criterion between the truth and falsehood.
Barakallahu fik, fathallahu alayk. So look, in the end, that's the battle of Badr. Okay, I'm going to repeat the last part. The battle of Badr was a decisive battle in the history of Islam, and a criterion between the truth and the falsehood. Okay, who can tell me why the battle of Badr was decisive battle in the history of Islam, and why was the battle of Badr was a criterion between the truth and the falsehood? I want to hear from you. I have only 2 hands. Go ahead, give him the mic. Take your time. I just want to hear from you.
It was a miraculous battle because the Muslims had much less equipment and numbers, and yet they still managed to believe the Quraysh, which were like the big power back then.
Inshallah. That's right. Quraysh were big force. They had camels and horses and horsemen and all of that. And everything was like against the Muslims because they were few in number. And then they had very few equipment. and few men. So it's like the math doesn't add up. But Allah Azza wa Jalla gave them victory. We'll talk about it. It was a decisive win for Islam and Muslims, and great humiliation for Quraysh and the Kufr. Tell me, you have a question? Use the mic. What's your question?
What does the Qalib of Badr mean?
What's that?
What does the Qalib of Badr mean?
Where is that? 95? Hold on. Where is that? Come and show me. Where is that? Okay. Oh, okay. When, yes, the battle ended, the funeral prayer was performed for the martyrs, the shuhada of Badr, and they were buried. The killed polytheists, the kuffar, were thrown in the qalib of Badr, like the well, the water of Badr. They were thrown in the water. Okay? Okay, so to sum this up before I give you a break, yes. He's asking who prayed the funeral? Who prayed the janazah prayer for the shuhada? Who do you think? Huh? Who led the prayer? Who prayed for the janazah prayer? The Prophet. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he led the prayer and prayed for those who were shuhada. Okay? I'm going to give you break time, and then I'm going to call you up in about maybe 15 minutes, and then we do the tafsir. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Shalla ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.